Hisham, I'm so glad that you are with us today. And in the next minutes, we will discuss a topic that is crucial for every one of us, the data-driven future of health tech. So as patients, in fact, we are all patients, aren't we? At least when we speak about prevention. So I would like to start with the question, how does health data contribute to improve the patient outcomes, and are there some innovations?
Thank you so much, Enea. Thanks first for the kind invitation, and it's a great pleasure to be among friends, colleagues, and a lot of partners. So definitely this topic is very interesting, and from my perspective, those health technologies have really great potential to change the way we either prevent, we treat, we manage health problems. I'm personally inspired, by those like emerging technologies. When you think not only accelerating, product development only, but really creating new hopes and new, like even kind of categories of treatment for patients. If you think about something like digital therapeutics, which are, software-based solutions for our patients to treat, certain conditions. And definitely health data is the core for those technologies. And it's, the foundation, the starting point. And it has big promise for our patients. When I reflect on that, I think about two things: health data and its governance. Those are the foundation. And today in modern healthcare, the way we treat, we link, we standardize data is critical for the success of modern healthcare. It's very important to really have governance in place, to have the right, digital healthcare ecosystem, because health data can be a burden on the system. Normally, you need a huge amount of data to experts and analysts can really come out to trends, come out, to pattern. So they better understand diseases. They think about prevention. They think about treatment. They think about, outcome tracking. But again, you need the two basics. You need the governance, and you need the right healthcare ecosystem.
Could you share with us some examples of healthcare innovations in this context?
Definitely, there are a lot of examples. If I reflect maybe on the example of prevention and diagnosis. Imagine if we have a person, she has a family history of cancer, for example, breast cancer, and she has the potential that in the future, she might develop breast cancer. And we can better understand that through the genetic mutation. If you have certain genetic mutation for certain type of cancer, you can decide that this lady is at high risk, to develop breast cancer in the future. And then you can take action now, either from prevention. You can set a system, of early warning signs, so you can detect early on the cancer and treat it. This is one example. Another example, and I think it's very important also for our progress from evidence-based perspective, is the clinical trials. Health data can really inform and optimize and really change the way we design and implement the clinical trials. One example here could be the way we set, for example, a kind of synthetic control arm. So usually in clinical trial, you give some patients, the real medicine, and for some others, you give them placebo, for example. So if you manage through health data and the historical data you have to set a synthetic arm for, for placebo, imagine the amount of saving from time, from money, and also the amount of risk and fear from patients. Another example could be the health system itself. If you think about the sustainability of our healthcare system, and if you have accurate data about certain treatment or certain medicine, you can decide that this is the place where I want to put, resources. And usually resources very challenging in terms of funding in the healthcare system. So if we know for sure from health data that this is the right place where we can have value, we can invest in this area.
There is a diversity of different solutions, and here comes the question, in what way the health data can benefit both the patient and, in the same time, the whole healthcare ecosystem?
Definitely, again, like there are different angles you can look into it, but if you take the angle even of treatment, that would be that you better understand the disease through, better understanding of the mutation or the genetic mutation. And if you take a disease like cystic fibrosis, for example, you have a better understanding of this, disease, and then you can have a tailored treatment for such a patient. This is, on a medical level, but on a more simple level, imagine that here, for example, in Bulgaria, if you are a cancer patient and you are in Varna and you did MRI, and maybe here in some oncology center, you will need to repeat the MRI again. So imagine if there is a digital healthcare ecosystem that is really across the country and your data are digitalized. You don't need to repeat tests. You don't need to carry, hard copy. Imagine also if you are doing skiing in one other European country in Austria, and you had a fracture or injury. Then if you have really a good system across Europe, and it's very much aligned, you don't need really to worry about your previous medical condition and the history. It will be very easy to manage your situation or your injury. Yeah.
And what opportunities does the health data present to the stakeholders in the healthcare industry? Maybe here is a good time to share with us more about the European health data space.
Sure, definitely European health data space, from my perspective, it's not only or not limited to data. It's more about healthier citizens. It's more about, more sustainable healthcare system. And it's about how we can foster research and development and create Europe as a hub for health innovation. This is really what is European health data space is about. A lot of discussion about how we gather data, how we link data, how we share data together. And from my perspective, European health data space can have different examples. If we reflect, for example, about the European Cancer Beating Plan, and we celebrated recently in Bulgaria, maybe earlier in January, that we signed on our Bulgarian, version of the Cancer Beating Plan. For the Cancer Beating Plan, there are two very interesting, components. One of them is the European Cancer Inequality Registry. And this one, through health data, it can give you an example about the trend, about inequalities, about disparities between different European countries, between different European regions, so you can really act on that. Another example within the, the Cancer Beating Plan is the European Cancer Imaging Registry. And this initiative, you can also, through linking a lot of health data, you can create a kind of digital infrastructure where doctors across the EU countries can make more informed decisions. Healthcare professionals and researchers in the clinical trial setup can make more, informed decision. I believe the call for change that I want to make now regarding the European health data space, that we need to work together. We need really to find the sweet spot between European health data space as a policy and between our local needs in Bulgaria. Because across Europe, there is no country is immune, there is no country is perfect. Sometimes I speak to some friends in Denmark, for example, and they say, we don't need European health data space. Our system is perfect. But the reality is no one is immune, no one is perfect. You need to find this link between European health data space and our local needs here. We as company, we as Roche are very much committed into sharing data, into partnering and collaborating in terms of health data. For the past, 125 years, we were dealing with data. And we were dealing with data with a lot of sensitivity and a lot of attention, that this is very critical and very sensitive issue. Finally, my personal hope that through the European health data space, we really energize and encourage more primary use of health data. So you see more like personalized healthcare. We also hope that we encourage a lot of secondary use of health data. So you see more of innovation, research and development, and acceleration of innovation. And finally, my final personal hope to have really a lot of integration between the patients and the industry, both really understand the value of data, both respect the boundaries and the privacy of each other, and come together in some of the governance body to really do great things again in terms of having more healthier citizens in the EU, fostering innovation, creating more sustainable healthcare systems.
I want to briefly open the topic of not so glamorous aspect of this work towards the end of our conversation. So what challenges do healthcare stakeholders face when managing and utilize data? Just few sentences.
Okay, very good. This topic you can speak for hours. From my perspective, the most important is the mindset. The mindset of the decision makers and the policy makers, and they really believe that this is critical and this is priority. And the mindset also at the public side and at the patient side. We're speaking maybe here about digital literacy. That's why what the Digital Health and Innovation Cluster did recently, the movie The Code Life, was really critical milestone, explaining to the public how critical is health data, how this is important for patients, for policymakers, for payers, for everyone. So I think this is, from my perspective, the mindset is critical. We can speak again for hours about governance, about infrastructure, about funding, but remains the mindset and the willingness, have a clear vision and clear framework that this is important for our Bulgarian patient. This is really the key.
People, just the pillar of every issue and every success. That's a great way to end our conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Enea. Thank you so much.